Hello, welcome or welcome back to Pluto Fairy Tarot. I'm Jay, and the download for this reading is opening up to new experiences will reveal the final detail. Okay, I'm seeing someone put the last piece into a puzzle. I'm seeing, I'm seeing like it looks like a planet, but it's just made of loose rocks, and then there's like a railroad spike slotted in, and then suddenly the whole thing solidifies and it becomes a whole stable planet, right? Getting your own gravity, no longer being pulled by others. There's one last piece, there's one last key detail, one last bit of information that's going to make everything, not literally everything in the universe, but everything in this arena suddenly make sense. Everything's going to solidify. Okay, you're going to have the whole picture on something. And then you're going to be able to move on. Ooh, I love that. So we're saying that you are about to level up spiritually. Okay, and the way it works is we have basically like the unawakened state, and then there's a narrow like eye of the needle moment that opens up into spiritual awareness, and then it moves into another narrow eye of the needle moment. I think that just repeats forever. But I can only speak for certain for like 4 or 5 levels. Um, but we tend to think, and I thought at first, as I think literally everyone does, that that first level is all there is until you put in that last piece, and suddenly you are sucked into the second level, right? And then you tend to usually think that's, oh, this is everything. I knew everything before, but no, this is it. And then it happens again. Usually by the third time, I think most people figure out that it's probably never going to end. To just assume there's always more to learn. um, but wherever you are, whatever level you're at, whatever level you're moving to, insofar as talking about it in levels makes sense, um, universally, if this reading is for you, you are on the precipice. But there's one last key detail you need, and it will come in when you open yourself to new experiences. Okay, and specifically, I'm hearing to new intuitive modalities. So, the different clairs, right? Clairaudient, claircognizant, clairsentient, clair. There's a bunch of them. They're not separate abilities. They are different sensory modalities that our intuition is communicating with us through, and it tends to align with how we naturally think. So if you're a naturally, visual person, you'll tend to see things in your mind's eye. You naturally think in words, you'll tend to hear words, right? You're naturally musical, you'll tend to hear songs for messages. Um, you're never restricted to just one or just a few. It's just we tend to only have an innate connection to a few based on how we naturally think. And there's one, it'll be a different one for each person. Um, I'm hearing kinesthetic is going to be the one for a lot of people that's feeling in your body. um, but for some people it's gonna be you need to hear it and you don't normally hear messages. You need to see it. You don't usually see messages. Whatever it is, universally, okay, if I can get to the point, it is a intuitive modality that you do not already work with, or you very very rarely work with, and you need to like dive into the deep end with. Okay, you need to really submerge yourself in it and allow the message to come through. Okay. And if I haven't said, this has been and will continue to be timeless in general. So take what resonates when and how it resonates, and leave what doesn't. Okay. What's going on? Oh, right. Speaking of new experiences, I was thinking about a reader I used to watch. Um, he did a couple readings, or I guess more than a couple, but not a ton. And then he stopped posting. Um, and I was just thinking about him, and in his reading, he would roll dice to get zodiac signs. And I thought about that, and then I was like, I have dice, and I was inspired to do that. I'm not doing like the whole reading methodology he used, but I am taking some inspiration and rolling some d12, 12-sided die for zodiac signs. Someone really doesn't want me to do this, which is a good sign, so I'm gonna keep going. You don't have to have these signs. I think we all have every sign at least once, right? Because of the houses, but you don't have to have these as a prominent thing, but they can be extra confirmation if you do, or it could just be flavoring the reading in some way. 10, 1, and 6. 1016 could be something as well. I'm going to Google that as an angel number. But that would be Aries, Virgo, and what's the 10th? Is that Capricorn? Let me double check. Yeah, Capricorn. Okay. Capricorn, Aries. Okay, we got a lot of stubborn energy. I say that with love. Oh, and Virgo too. Yeah, we got a lot of stubborn energy here. Two earth signs, and then a fire sign, but it's the ram, right? Ram is perfect visual representation of Aries energy in the most beautiful way, but the hard headedness, which is valuable and necessary when you need to smash through a brick wall. You need to get the flow going, right? Get the cycle started. Okay, oh gosh. Woo. I was hearing Let's Get It Started, and who signed off on that song? And then I started hearing the original version. The chair's making so much noise when I laugh. Like, if you know, you know. Ooh, okay. Angel number 1016. The angel number 1016 is asking you to follow a life of spirituality and divine intentions. You will realize your daily requirements. Yeah, so as you open up, oh, thank you, Spirit. You need to stubbornly commit to receiving your own intuition, even if it comes through in ways that are at this point foreign to you, right? You're not used to it. It's might be scary, right? Very alien. I'm also seeing alien. I'm seeing a card from my no card oracle actually, so I'll shuffle and see if it comes out, of two aliens making peace signs in a UFO. So there's this out of this world energy supporting you, right? Your spirit team, Thorisaz, enemy, Thorn. You need to protect yourself from your enemies as well, and these are good signs for doing that. If Scorpio was out here, that would be really good for that, but we only got 3 signs. But yeah, Aries, they'll headbutt you. Capricorns can be ruthless, as can Virgos, but Capricorns are really which is a beautiful thing as well, right? None of these traits are good or bad in and of themselves. It's always context, and this is a beautiful context for these abilities. Okay, and the thorn meaning of it is like the thorns of a rose. You need to be thorny. I'm seeing someone wear spiky armor. People are only going to hurt themselves if they're trying to attack you. You never hurt an innocent. Okay, you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about quote unquote incurring karma by protecting yourself in this way. Same concept as reflecting people's intention back at them. They sent it to you in the first place, right? So you're not going to be punished as though you just sat down and were like trying to curse someone if their curse bounces back to them, right? They pay the price for their actions. You still may not like it, like you don't want people to be in pain, but it's like if they inflict pain upon themselves, that has to be what happens. Because if you don't put up the thorns, then they can just hurt you. Excuse me, intuitive birth confirmation. You have to be bold and you have to defend yourself. Because you do have people who are out to get you. Okay? Bullseye. Yeah, sadly. Bullseye. Okay. Kauna, torch, sore. Something painful is being illuminated. On defense, again, you need to defend yourself. You need to create the safe environment for you to receive and open up to these divine messages through these intuitive downloads. And understand that it's you. You're the power. We're not the only power, but we are powerful, right? We are also working with spirit. But we're also doing things, right? You are the intuitive one. It's not that you're just a receiver and it's being beamed to you. Yes, you're receiving it, but there's just so much programming in our world to convince us that we're nothing so that we don't realize we're powerful. That's the simplest way I can put it. And the actual divine wants you to know how powerful you are. Okay. Let's see if it ends up coming out. Nope, but we got Ingwaz, seed or growth. On offense. Okay. Yeah, there's attacks coming against you, so you need to defend yourself, and they're being illuminated because you can't just ignore them anymore. You can't solve a problem you pretend doesn't exist. But you're moving into growth by defending yourself. And by directing your intention with bullseye as well, directing your intention intentionally, right? Like reflecting negative intention back at people, right? If they send some bullshit your way, it just goes back to them. If you set that intention, you're never going to accidentally hurt someone who did nothing to you because they would have to send something to you to receive it back. Right? So being very mindful and cognizant with our intention makes it impossible to do things we didn't intend for. So just cover your bases, right? For instance, when working with energies outside of you, clarify that only benevolent, truthful energies can communicate, right? And then the liars won't be able to access you, right? Just be clear with your intention. Okay, anything else? Four of Pentacles reversed. Something has to be let go of. The Star. And I have it censored with tape, but typically the figure is completely naked. Communicating absolute authenticity. Letting go of the things that you covered yourself with. Maybe you put on certain styles as a self-protection thing, or you don't wear the style you naturally want to wear, right? As a form of self-protection to avoid standing out and people seeing you and saying things. Or you try to stand out when you don't naturally want to because, well, then they're talking about me for this obvious reason and not this other reason, right? This other insecurity. However it manifests for you, authenticity is the answer. Okay. The World reversed. The world doesn't give a shit. I don't mean spirit. I'm not talking about spirit. I mean other people aren't thinking about that. Right? They're thinking about themselves. They're worried about how they're being perceived. They're not looking at you and thinking all these judgmental thoughts. And people who tell you that they are and they try to build these complexes in us by pointing things out and shaming us for them, they're the weird ones. The ones who care are the weirdos. The vast majority of people don't care because they're so worried about themselves, and then like good healthy people don't care because they're not judgmental, right? They're not arbitrarily judgmental, I should say, right? We should be appropriately judgmental, right? Like, oh, that's bad, don't do that, right? Don't hurt children, right? A pretty obvious one that I think is completely uncontroversial to say, though who knows, right? That is appropriate judgment. The people who are like, oh, I don't like your style, it's like, okay, and people who are well-rounded just think, oh, I wouldn't wear that, but good for them, right? There's no shaming, there's no unnecessary judgment made. Okay. Shut the fuck up. Spirit. It's perfect. Judgment reversed. Yeah, there's no judgment. Not from anyone whose judgment means anything. Right? There's no meaningful, valuable feedback right, on this department. If you're appropriately covered, it doesn't matter what color or style you're covered in. As long as you're having that basic respect for other people, wear what style you want to wear. Or however, whatever it's talking about, being whatever form the authenticity is taking, though it does really feel like self-presentation is a big part of it. Follow the calling that you naturally have. Not that you wish you had, but that you actually have. Okay, something else really wants to come out. I want to end this. 15:45. Going longer than I wanted to, but that's okay. Oh, the wind is really going outside. 8 of Cups. It wants to go over here. I'm hearing, I'll walk a lonely road. None of the other lyrics matter. It's lonely, but in a good way, because when you realize that no one whose opinion matters cares, you can walk that road without the shame and you can actually close it out. Thank you, Spirit. That's actually a very positive way for the 8 of Cups to come through. 5 of Wands reversed. They're creating an opening. They're showing their hand by attacking, right? If you set up booby traps and then someone sets them off and it like shoots a die pack, and the next day you see them covered in the die, you know they tried to break in. It doesn't matter if you didn't see them. It doesn't matter if they deny it. They showed their hand. They revealed themselves through their attacks, through their attempted attacks. So you're going to be seeing, and this might be very painful with Kauna. It might be like, oh, I really didn't want that person to be conniving and out to get me. I really didn't want that to be the case. It's not for everyone, thankfully, but for some people, sadly, that's part of the message. Okay. Bottom of deck energy, and then we'll actually close it out finally. King of Swords. What is this? Ace of Pentacles reversed and King of Swords reversed. Don't speak. Don't tell them what you're doing. Don't try and argue with them. They're not engaging in good faith. There's no useful discourse to be had here. And Ace of Pentacles reversed. I just heard, don't try and use the community garden because they're just going to salt your crops. It's not saying like not to ever, plant seeds of intention. It's saying, because we got Ingwa's seed at the end of the reading over here, it's saying hold on to them, put them in the pouch, travel to another land, and then, set up shop, right? But do not engage with these people who do not engage in good faith, okay? And that's the reading. I hope that reading resonated. It was helpful for you. If it did resonate, it was helpful. You can let me know by liking the video, commenting if you want, and subscribing to the channel if you'd like to see more readings from me in the future. All right. Good luck and goodbye.